Sarah had always found solace in the quiet corners of the city's quaint coffee shops. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the soft murmur of conversations provided the perfect backdrop for her writing. Every morning, she would settle into her favorite corner at Brew Haven, a small but cozy coffee shop nestled on a tree-lined street. With her laptop open and a steaming cup of cappuccino by her side, she would lose herself in the world of her novel. One crisp autumn morning, as Sarah was typing away, she noticed a new barista behind the counter. He had tousled brown hair, a warm smile, and an easygoing demeanor that immediately drew her attention. His name tag read Jake. As he expertly crafted drinks and chatted with customers, Sarah couldn't help but be intrigued by him. Jake had always dreamed of opening his own café. He loved the art of coffee making and the sense of community it fostered. Working at Brew Haven was a stepping stone towards his dream. He had noticed Sarah too, the diligent writer who came in every morning, her face often lit by the glow of her laptop screen. There was something about her that captivated him, but he hadn't yet found an excuse to strike up a conversation. One day, as Sarah was struggling with a particularly challenging chapter, she decided to take a break and get a refill. She walked up to the counter, where Jake was busy cleaning the espresso machine. "Hey, can I get another cappuccino?" she asked, smiling. "Of course," Jake replied, returning her smile. "How's the writing going today?" Sarah was surprised but pleased that he had noticed. "It's going okay, I guess. I'm stuck on a scene and can't seem to get it right." Jake handed her the freshly made cappuccino. "Maybe a change of scenery would help. There's a nice park nearby with a great view of the river. Sometimes a little fresh air can do wonders for creativity." Sarah thanked him for the suggestion and returned to her seat. The next day, she decided to take his advice and move to the park for a change. The new environment did wonders for her writer's block, and the words began to flow once more. A few days later, Sarah returned to Brew Haven, feeling more confident about her writing. She walked up to the counter and thanked Jake for his suggestion. "The park was just what I needed. My writer's block is gone." Jake looked genuinely pleased. "I'm glad to hear that. If you ever need more inspiration, I've got plenty of other spots I can recommend." As the days turned into weeks, Sarah and Jake's interactions became more frequent and friendly. They discovered shared interests and ambitions during their conversations. Sarah found herself looking forward to her morning coffee not just for the caffeine, but also for the chance to chat with Jake. One rainy afternoon, Sarah arrived at the coffee shop to find it unusually crowded. With no empty tables in sight, Jake waved her over to the counter. "Hey, it's packed today. Do you mind sitting here?" Sarah nodded and perched herself on a stool at the counter. As she sipped her cappuccino, she and Jake chatted about their dreams. Jake revealed his plans to open his own cafe, and Sarah shared her aspirations of publishing her novel. Just as they were engrossed in their conversation, a woman stormed in, drenched from the rain. She approached Jake and started speaking in hushed, urgent tones. Sarah couldn't make out the words, but she saw the worried look on Jake's face. After a few moments, the woman left, leaving Jake looking troubled. "Is everything okay?" Sarah asked, concerned. Jake sighed. "That was my sister. She's going through a tough time, and I need to help her out. I'll have to close the shop early today." Sarah felt a pang of disappointment, but quickly masked it with a supportive smile. "I hope everything works out for her." Jake gave her a grateful nod before closing up the shop. Over the next few days, Sarah noticed that Jake seemed more distracted and preoccupied. He was still friendly, but there was a tension in his demeanor that hadn't been there before. One evening, as Sarah was getting ready to leave, Jake approached her. "Sarah, can I talk to you for a moment?" "Of course," she replied, curious and a bit anxious. Jake led her to a quiet corner of the shop. "I need to apologize if I've seemed distant lately. My sister's situation has been weighing on me, and I've been trying to figure out how to help her." Sarah reached out and touched his arm. "You don't have to apologize. I understand. Family comes first." Jake looked into her eyes, gratitude and something deeper reflecting in his gaze. "Thank you, Sarah. It means a lot to hear that." As the weeks passed, Jake's sister's situation improved, and the old Jake began to reemerge. Sarah and Jake grew closer, their friendship blossoming into something more. They spent time together outside of the coffee shop, exploring the city's hidden gems and sharing their dreams and fears. One crisp winter evening, after a long walk through the snow-covered streets, Jake invited Sarah to his apartment for hot cocoa. As they sat on his couch, sipping their drinks, the atmosphere was filled with a comfortable silence. "Sarah," Jake began, his voice soft and hesitant, "I've been meaning to tell you something." Sarah's heart raced. She had felt this moment coming, but the reality of it was thrilling and terrifying all at once. "What is it, Jake?" He took a deep breath, his eyes locking onto hers. "I've fallen for you. I know we started as friends, but somewhere along the way, my feelings for you changed. You're not just the talented writer who comes into the coffee shop every morning. You're someone I can't imagine my life without." Sarah's eyes filled with tears of happiness. "I feel the same way, Jake. You've brought so much joy and inspiration into my life. I can't believe how lucky I am to have met you." Jake set his mug down and gently cupped her face in his hands. Their lips met in a tender kiss, sealing the bond that had been growing between them for months. The world outside faded away, leaving only the warmth and connection they shared. From that moment on, Sarah and Jake's relationship flourished. They supported each other's dreams, with Sarah helping Jake plan his own cafe and Jake encouraging Sarah as she finished her novel. They spent their days working side by side at Brew Haven and their evenings dreaming about the future. One sunny spring day, as they sat in the park where Sarah had found her inspiration months before, Jake took her hand. "Sarah, I have something for you." He reached into his bag and pulled out a small, beautifully wrapped package. Inside was a notebook with a cover that mirrored the facade of Brew Haven, complete with tiny, intricate details. "I had this made for you," Jake said, his eyes twinkling with love. "I know how much this place means to you, and I wanted you to have something to remember it by as you write your next novel." Sarah's eyes filled with tears as she hugged Jake tightly. "It's perfect. Thank you, Jake. I can't wait to fill it with new stories, especially our own." As they sat together in the park, surrounded by blooming flowers and the soft murmur of the city, Sarah knew that she had found something truly special. In the midst of coffee and chaos, she had discovered a love that was deep, genuine, and enduring. Their love story continued to grow, with each day bringing new adventures and deeper connections. Sarah's novel was finally published, dedicated to Jake, the man who had inspired her and believed in her when she needed it most. Jake's Cafe, a cozy and welcoming space named Brewed Dreams, became a reality, with Sarah by his side every step of the way. The coffee shop that had once been a backdrop for their burgeoning romance now stood as a testament to their shared journey and dreams. Together, they faced life's challenges, knowing that their love was strong enough to weather any storm. As they looked toward the future, Sarah and Jake knew that they were incredibly fortunate. They had found each other in the most unexpected of places, and their love story was only just beginning. With hearts full of hope and dreams intertwined, they were ready to embrace whatever came next, hand in hand.